Hey guys, Tisha here, and we are back with another Sister Wives Season 6 review. The celebration continues, even though, in my opinion, this family had nothing worth celebrating. So, it's been 6 months since the family had counseling in Sedona with Nancy, and from the counseling sessions, they determined that they wanted something to show them choosing to work on their relationships together as a family. We know that they want to do this whole mission statement as well as this commitment celebration. I said it before and I'm going to say it again, that they seem to be more concerned with the celebration than they were the relationships. We find out that at this point, the celebration is less than a month away and that there is a lot that they have to do. We see that the landscape is almost completely done, and their person did a great job because it was a whole bunch of gravel and stone in the back, and now there's actual foliage, like pretty grass and stuff back there. It looks really good. It even looks like it was some brickwork done back there. It looks nice. Cody says that he still has to get suits for the boys, and we find out that the wives still need someone to make their dresses. They still have to plan the menu. And more than anything, their whole reason for doing this ceremony, the mission statement, is not complete. And they say one of the reasons why it's not complete yet is because there are 5 adults with varying opinions, and it's hard for them to agree on an overall mission statement. As we're sitting here and we're watching this, the thing that I keep thinking is they wasted so much money on this ceremony that really was just that, a ceremony, and that it did nothing in terms of the relationships. And I'm looking at this like they're crazy. They're sitting here in previous episodes complaining about how they're managing to have food on the table and how they're going to manage to put all these different children through college. But then they're doing stuff like this ceremony that to me is pointless, where they're going to have to feed over 200 people just to show that they're committed to one another. When I thought that was the whole point in what we saw in the first season with Robin and Cody getting married. That was the commitment. You tell us that your vows, that your covenant to one another means more than this, but yet you're doing the very thing that you say doesn't matter. So why are we doing this if this isn't what matters? I just feel like they contradict themselves so much, and I really found myself getting irritated with this, okay? We meet Sam, who is the daughter of one of Janelle's friends, and she just recently graduated with her fashion degree. She is there to design individual dresses for each one of the wives. She gets asked that same question that TLC producers always ask, which is, how do you feel about them being polygamous? Have you ever met a polygamist, and all those other things? Because for some reason, they just feel the need to always ask this question. She says she has no expectations, and she's basically there to do a job. She's not there to judge them. And I think that that's pretty much how everybody who comes into contact with them to do things for them at this point. If you're paying them, or it's giving them experience, or it's allowing them a moment on TV, they don't care. They're not there to help if they're bothered by this. Like, there are people who will actually not allow them to be a patron and stuff. So asking that question is like, okay, we're going to ask this every single time we have any type of interaction with this family. Okay. Cody says that Sam doesn't know what she's getting into because these women are going to want completely different things from each other. We then find out that Christine changed her design because she saw Janelle's and she realized that their designs were very similar. And then we find out that when she changed her design, hers was the easiest, which it did look the easiest. Didn't have a whole bunch going on to it. We see Sam cutting out different pieces of fabric. She's draping the ladies with the fabric so she could go home and create the dress. I have an aunt that does this, that is a seamstress. Like, she sews big time. She's done weddings, and she sews for a dance company and schools and all that other stuff, right? And when I say that I remember being a little girl, and my grandmother, actually, she sews as well. I remember sitting in their store and watching them with the brides and seeing them do all these different things. So when I sat there and I saw them draping, I was like, man, people really don't realize how much of an eye you have to have for these things. To see that girl not have like pre-cut out patterns, but to be doing it herself, that's different. And she was taking on a really big task. Janelle then talks about how in this instance, when they were talking about her design, she actually wanted something more fitted. She's realizing now that she has a waist, so she kind of wants to show it. And the terrible sister wife that Christine is said to Janelle how proud she is of her and how great she looks. And she continues to compliment her both in confessional and in the scene when she's trying on her stuff. But Christine is the terrible wife. This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Christine was phenomenal at times. I'm not going to act like she was perfect, but sitting there letting Janelle know how great she looks and how proud she is of her and all those other things. And you could tell Janelle was receiving it and she appreciated it. Okay, we know that Janelle and them are going to be a little bit more easier. And then, of course, we're going to have overly complicated Mary. She's the one who has all these different specifications, and she wants to feel really comfortable, and she was really concerned about her fabric choice, and she sees all the others, and she wants her stuff to be edgy. She wants to go outside of the box, but yet she wants to make sure she feels comfortable in it. And sometimes when I'm listening to Mary speak, it makes me reevaluate myself, because I'm very particular about certain things. And I listen to Mary sometimes and she just comes across as a nag, like, or overly picky. If you felt this strongly about it, maybe you should have picked someone who had more experience, or Mary So's, maybe she should have done it herself. I don't know, just a guess. Janelle confesses that she told Sam prior to her meeting Mary that Mary was going to be the pickiest of the group, and she was. Like, we saw it. We now hear that the family is going to check in with Nancy because apparently, even though the show hadn't shown us this, they've been seeing Nancy since Sedona. And I said, okay, so you mean to tell me that this entire time, these 6 months since we last saw filming, that the family continued to see this woman and we didn't get to see any of that? Instead, when we do see it, we see them sitting down basically discussing this stupid mission statement. Knowing what we now know, whenever I look at these episodes, I get irritated with what they've shown versus what we're hearing now. They're in a session with Nancy, who is looking like she's bored of this whole mission statement talk, but she's getting paid anyway, so she's gonna go with it. And they're talking about, you know, what they want to add to it, what's a definite, all this other stuff. So we hear Janelle begin to read part of the mission statement. Our family is forever, joined for the purposes of developing our own divine energy and raising righteous children. That's all we heard so far. The bird then begins to talk in confessional about how she gets goosebumps every single time she hears the mission statement, and she gets so choked up. Not to say that you talking about your family isn't a reason to get choked up, but sometimes I feel like they were putting 20 on 10. So we're going to act like this is so much more powerful than it really. Actions speak louder than words. Okay? I'm not accustomed to families having to have mission statements. Even though my parents got divorced when I was young, we didn't have a mission statement. And I know my dad and Bonus mom, they don't have a mission statement, and they've done very well for themselves. This doesn't matter. All this talk is cheap. It's about your actions. We then hear about how what they want to do is they want to probably get this put on a canvas and have their signatures at the bottom. And then they want it in each of the homes. I wish they took their marriages as seriously as they did this piece of paper. Because at this point, based on what we're seeing and based on what we know now, Mary and Cody were struggling. But you have Mary sitting in these sessions with the family, coming up with something like a mission statement, which is weird. Janelle says if it's on canvas, one of the things that we need to consider is getting another wife. And you can immediately see that all the wives were bothered by Janelle saying that. Cody said that he doesn't know if he'll ever get another wife. And that at this point, he feels like the family is closed. It's at a close. Like, they're not going to need to add. He's like, I don't see us adding any more wives. Maybe I see us adding more children. His way of letting you guys know he's going to have more kids with Robin. But he doesn't see them having wives. Janelle says, yeah, I don't really see you having another wife either, but I didn't see Robin happening. When she said it, I smirked. Because this is the same family that told us that they felt spiritually drawn to Robin and whatever else they said about her. And Janelle said she just knew that Robin was going to be a member of the family and all this other stuff. But here she is saying that she didn't see Robin coming either. So did she mean that she saw Robin getting married to him after she met him? Because the statement of you didn't see Robin coming either implies that you thought y'all were done. Just something I noticed. Y'all tell me what you think that means. Let's pause for a moment from our sponsor. Simply Mixology. Strawberry guava mojito. Non-alcoholic flavored juice beverage. It's truly not. We know I'm not sponsored, but might as well, sure. And it's actually good, you guys. It even has that little minty feel to it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's my first time trying it, and I'm over here like, ooh. Where am I? He said, in my mind, I'm done. Robin coming in was spiritual magic. And I just don't see that happening again. Mr. Brown loved him some Robin. He just did. Nancy says, overall, you guys constructed a beautiful statement of values and where you want to be, but you don't have it all figured out. They didn't harp on that. They just had her say that statement, and that was it. In confessionals, Mary says, I have a concern about after we complete the mission statement and the celebration is over, what is going to happen. To me, that is not a negative statement. To me, it's her saying, once this show is over, am I going to be able to feel like I'm a wife? Am I going to be able to feel like I'm a part of this family and that we're actually working to be closer together? Or am I going to continue to feel like an outlier? Because we've seen in previous episodes this season that we're talking about where Mary said that she felt like she was alone and that she didn't feel like she was always included and she didn't know where she stood because her child is older than these other children, and that changes her relationship with the moms. And yes, some of that was self-inflicted because Mary kind of stayed off to herself. But she's saying, after we're done with the optics, after we're done putting on this show for the show, what's going to happen? Cody cuts her off and says, let's be optimistic. I don't understand why no other wife spoke up for her in this moment, especially because I know that Christine probably felt the same way as well, because we already know that Christine was having her own struggles. But he tells her, let's be optimistic. I understand your concern. I don't want to sweep your concerns under the table. But he doesn't understand, because in that moment, that was the time for him to acknowledge what she was saying. She was showing that she had legitimate worries here, and he didn't want to hear about it. He just wanted to be in the rose-colored glasses section. He says, Mary, you're going to have to move your mindset to positive affirmation place where you are being hopeful. Which makes me seem, it's basically saying you need to work on whatever you have going on over there. Because remember, they're not supposed to be jealous. They're not supposed to be There's a whole bunch of things that they're apparently not supposed to be. I don't even know all of it, but one of them is that they're supposed to internalize things and work on it inwardly. So he's telling her that you need to sit here and fix your mindset. That basically something's wrong with Mary and she needs to do her own internal work because it's her mindset that's causing her to think about what's going to happen after this. No, that's the humanity in her. Because we do this and then what? I think Mary was very legitimate to ask that question. And the fact that he didn't want to answer it lets me know that he planned on doing no work after this. Because there was a simple answer. After this, we're going to work together as a family to make sure that we complete this mission statement. To make sure that we're united. He could have said so many things in that moment to bring Mary comfort, but he had no desire to. I wonder how he would have handled that had the bird asked that question. We then see the ladies being pinned for the dresses again, and they really waited too late to do all of this. As they're doing this, we then see that they want the kids to rehearse. They go outside. They have all the kids line up and practice for the commitment ceremony. It is very obvious that the kids don't want to do this and that this whole thing is about the adults. Christine and Mary want Cody to cut the beard that he has because he's talking about taking pictures and all that stuff as a family. Meanwhile, Janelle and Robin like it. And as Mary is trying to explain something, he cuts Mary off and says, look, I appreciate everybody's opinion, but it's my body and I'm going to decide. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps it because Robin says she likes it and we know he wants to please Robin. They have the kids line up and the teenage boys are playing. And as they're playing, Janelle gets frustrated and she speaks to them in the same kind of tone that we saw Mary speak to the other kids when they had that whole thing outside and one of the kids hit Brianna in the eye and all that other stuff. You know, that time when the parents got mad and Christine felt like Mary wasn't in the place to say anything. And the same tone that Mary used towards those children is the same tone that Janelle used. And it seemed like the parents were unbothered because they didn't complain about it in confessionals the way they complained about it with Mary. Just something that I noticed with this, which is interesting. And y'all know I'm not a Mary fan a lot of times. A lot of times Mary gets on my nerves, but I can see why sometimes she did feel like she was treated a little differently. Maddie says, what if we don't agree with the mission statement? Cody says, if you don't like it or agree with it, then don't sign it. Robin says, if they don't agree, then they just need to move. They better move out. The bird doesn't like the fact that these kids are being told by Cody that they can have a choice whether to sign it or not because she feels like this is supposed to be their life. Janelle says that she's glad that Cody gives them the opportunity to choose, but she needs them to sign it. After all of this, she needs them to sign it. And I don't see what the big deal is. If y'all want to sign the thing, but y'all making the kids forced to sign something that they don't even quite understand and that they weren't involved in. Maddie admits to only saying that, you know, what if we don't want to sign it because she wanted to push Robin's buttons because she likes to push Robin's buttons. And I want to know why she liked to push them so much. Hunter says this whole mission statement is really just about the adults. I agree. Aspen says the mission statement means a lot to the parents, but there's a lot of unnecessary things going on. And like the scale that they're doing this is a bit much. And I agree with Aspen. Why are they doing all of this? Robin really has a problem with the fact that Cody threw out that they had a choice. Who cares? Why is this a thing? Why do they even have to sign it? Put it on the canvas paper and put it on the wall. And you adults want to sign something so bad, acting like this is the Declaration of Independence, then go ahead and sign it. These kids don't care. They don't even want to hear about it. They don't want to be out there. They're trying to leave. We find out that part of the ceremony will involve each child getting a piece of jewelry with this tree symbol that Robin created, because you know that Robin is the designer of all things, and it's just a tree with branches on it, and they're all going to get it. And as they're saying all this, all I see is money, money, money. Like, where are y'all getting all the money for this? TLC had to have help pay for this because feeding 200 people is not cheap. They say that some people feel like Cody has 4 families, and this is proof that he does not have 4 families. He has 1 family. He just has 4 wives. I feel like that's what y'all were saying then, but looking back at it now, Cody definitely has 1 family, and that's Robin's family. We find out that they're also going to be doing a sand pouring ceremony where each wife gets a different color sand, and Christine goes to the store to get the sand into white sand and to color it herself because they didn't have the colors that each wife wanted. And I'm like, okay, y'all are really treating this like a wedding ceremony, and you're just keep telling us that this isn't a wedding ceremony, but you're doing stuff that is wedding like. Have they not been to other weddings? Because this is like a wedding. Vows equals the mission statement. Rings is the jewelry that they're going to be giving out. Unity candle, to me, reminds me of the sand that they're going to be combining, or the sand that they actually do combine, or the braided cord that they do. Like, this is very wedding-like. In confessional, Robin's talking again about how she'll always have the influence of these 3 ladies, and that's part of the reason why she wants to do the sand, because the sand just reminds her about how they're all blended, and once they're blended that you can't separate them. And as she's talking, I just noticed that Robin has yet another fever blister on her lip. Last time in the confessional was at the corner. This time it's at that top lip. She got a lot of those. I'm just saying, like, what was Robin doing? Like but for real, why you keep on getting all these fever blisters? Like, what do you need? Mary says that this ceremony involves a lot of give and take because they're doing things that she really doesn't want to do. Example, she's not loving the whole stand idea, but she knows it matters to her sister wives. We find out that another part of the ceremony is going to be planting a tree. We hear a whole thing about the tree planting, and if they want the kids to participate or just stand there, grab dirt and all these other things, and they're just making everything way more than it has to be. Leon says that this is a bit much. Everybody knows that they love each other. They shouldn't have to have a party to say it. And once again, the kids make more sense than the adults. What Leon did not understand at this time is that her family was more concerned about the illusion to appear to be this functional, loving family than they really were about actually being a loving and functioning family, because this ceremony was optics. This ceremony was for us, the viewers, to see, because I doubt if y'all were on TV that this would even be a thing. The kids are over it. Cody gives a bunch of idle threats about how they better not do this, and they better not talk back, and they better not be making a whole bunch of noise during this ceremony, or they'll be sent home. They won't be able to dance, and they'll be kicked out of the family. And some of the moms are laughing at this, and I'm just like, okay, Cody, it's a bit much, but I guess it accomplished what he wanted it to accomplish. We see Robin getting this stuff together with the different designs. I think it was like a thing for the wrist for the boys, and then I guess a necklace or something for the girls. Robin says that she's always wanted to be a part of the polygamous family all her life, and now she's getting that, and that's what this commitment celebration means to her. I would think that you got that a couple years ago when y'all had that big party and you were talking about how you guys were united as one, and the wives gave you the ring and all that other stuff. I would think that that was what that was, but apparently it wasn't. Christine says that for her, at first she didn't want to do all of this, but after the trip to San Francisco, she realized that they could be more than just sister wives, that the 4 of them could be friends, and that they do have a potential for friendship. I don't know what happened with all of that. We then see the ladies trying on stuff again, and Mary's dress is not working out. I don't even understand what the color schemes are, because Robin and Janelle's dress looked like they were in the same family, but Christine's dress with that coral color with the color of that dress was ugly. I'm sorry. With the design, it wasn't doing anything for her. And then Mary with the gold dress, like, y'all don't even compliment each other in these dresses. But okay. Cody's gonna be working on his lights that are taking him forever while they still try to figure out the dress situation and the rentals and all these other things that are coming. And that is basically the gist of this episode, which was lame. You guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for your time. I've said it in other videos. You could be watching anybody else, but you all are choosing to watch me, and I am very, very appreciative of it. The channel is growing, and it means a lot to me. If you have not already done so, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? I'm not going anywhere, you guys. I'm trying to look for other ideas of things to do. I don't just want to review, you know, okay, this isn't even what this is supposed to be about. I don't just want to review stuff. I want to do other things as well that don't involve me divulging too much of my life. Because you know I go on a tangent sometimes. I think for right now I'm going to stick to the reviews though. And I don't ever plan on stopping that. Let me be clear. I just don't want, because Sister Wives is only going to last for so long. And I've noticed that a good portion of my views comes from that. And I just want to make sure that I am maintaining an audience across the board. Even when Sister Wives is done and the season is over, that I'm still getting, you know, content to create. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Put it on my community wall or, you know, wherever you feel like, even in one of the comment sections. I appreciate you all. Until next time.